Welcome to our AI Insight webinar series. Our next webinar will be held on Thursday, April 25th at 2 o'clock Eastern, where we will be reviewing our financial performance reporting feature. The focus of today's webinar is our Enhanced CE platform. With us today, we have Summer Herman, who is part of the AI Insight team, Senior Manager of Financial Firm Client Solutions and Head of CE Relations. Summer?
Thank you, Jen. As Jen said, my name is Summer Herman. And one of my roles here at AI Insight is to provide continuing education solutions and support. So today I'm really excited to share with you our newly enhanced CE platform and how we can assist you in meeting your annual training requirements. Now, as most of you are aware, our primary business is to provide training, education, and research on alternative investments. And as part of that initiative, we offer our subscribers CE Supplemental Courses to further enhance their learning experience as well as the knowledge base of our users. And we do this with a pretty diverse library of over 120 CE Supplemental Courses. Well, 120 courses seems to be a pretty solid library. We do hope to grow that number in the coming years. In fact, we will be releasing a proprietary cybersecurity course, which is a hot topic right now, in a couple of weeks, and it's a bit of a contrast to our other AI Insight courses, which focus primarily on complex products. So we're really excited about the release of that. We're also a vendor of the FINRA e-learning series and the Institute of Portfolio Alternatives Advanced Education courses. And just a little side note that I think is worth mentioning is that several of these courses do provide CE credits for the CFP designation. And just as an added perk to our clients, we will file for CE credits for that CFP designation if the appropriate requirements have been met. So today, thanks for joining. We do have a pretty diverse audience, so I thought it might be helpful to provide a little background on our AI Insight CE platform and how and why it came to be. This platform was initially developed as a standalone platform to allow any type of individual or firm access to our CE library, which our current subscribers already had access to through their alternative investment subscription. However, the most recent enhancements to this platform came as direct requests from our current subscribers who were looking for a strategic approach using the AI Insight platform, a platform that they were very comfortable with using, as well as their users, to facilitate their annual training requirements. So we incorporated these necessary elements that would streamline the process for these firms in developing, delivering, and tracking of FINRA's annual training requirements. And the beauty of these features is that they've already been incorporated into subscriber accounts. There's no additional contracts to use these features. They're accessible to all account admins, and they're at your disposal. What's even better is we've added a CE-only user functionality for our subscribers to allow users to be added to the platform for CE training purposes without impacting the user limits that are set by most subscriptions. And these CE-only users will also be restricted from access to the alternative investment side of the platform. So these users will only see the CE library or any learning paths that have been created by the home office. So just to give you an idea of how this would work, you would typically add these CE users just as you would any other user through the admin icon and the Manage Search Users. When you get to this area of the user's profile, all you would need to do is check the box for CE only. And this would make that particular user it would put that CE only user in that CE only role. These users can be managed here on that same page, the admin search and manage for members. You can come here for existing users and check the box to make them a CE only if they no longer need access to the platform. Simple process too, if they need access to the alternative investment platform, they can certainly uncheck that box as well. You'll just want to make sure that their role is being managed correctly through the admin icon as well, the Manage Education Module role, and the for member assigned education module role. So you'll always want to make sure that if you do change that CE only, their user type there, you're going to want to make sure that they have the appropriate role. So now that you have your users in the system, you'll have some that are alternative investment users that will be logging in, and some that are CE only. When your CE users, your CE only registered users log in, they're going to actually see a platform that's very different from the alternative investment users. They log in and they see something like this. They're going to see just the course library. If you have not created any training paths and you're not using any of the other CE functionality. Now, your alternative investment users, when they log in, they see something very different. They see the alternative investments, and they are not going to need 2 accounts. They will be able to access anything that you require and create within their alternative investment account. So I'm going to click over here to my broker-dealer admin account. Here I'm signed in as a broker-dealer admin. And the functionality that we've added to allow you to be able to administer your annual training requirements can be found here under Education and Training. You click on this icon here. Here are the different elements that we have added. The firm element training paths can be created here. The needs analysis template is found here. The annual compliance meeting functionality, as well as the annual compliance questionnaire. Now, you can use some of these elements and not others. You can certainly use them all. So we're going to start with the needs analysis. As the needs analysis is generally the starting point in the development of any written training plan, you can see now I've got a lot of saved examples here that I've created for the purpose of this training. But when you log in as an admin, the only thing you're going to see is this 2019 Needs Analysis Survey. You're going to have the ability here to clone that if you do want to use that, or perhaps add your own questions to our existing template. You can simply create a new needs analysis, create your own, start from scratch by clicking this up here. So first here, we're going to take a look at the needs analysis template, and we're actually going to clone it. So here you're going to give it a name, and you'll click Submit. And that basically is going to create the shell for the needs analysis. You'll notice here that it's not active because we're still going to be working on that. So what we're going to do right now is after we've cloned it, we're going to manage our questions. So here are all the questions from the template that currently are going to be added to our needs analysis that we're creating. You can edit any one of these questions, or you can delete any of these questions. You can certainly add your own questions under this new question, and you can also save them to, pulling questions that you've saved to your custom module bank. But I'm going to click on New Question because we want to add a question to this needs analysis. And all you would need to do is simply type out your question. You can check this box if users can only select one answer option. Here you can list out your answers. You can have a not applicable, or you can select the box for the correct answer. You can add a note box based on how they answer. You can require the note box based on how they answer. And you can have an email generated to an admin if this question is answered a certain way. You can also add a narrative if you want, and any references that you wanted to be uploaded to this needs analysis question as well. So let me get back to our needs analysis. So once we do that, then we are going to want to customize that needs analysis for a particular role. And you can do this by clicking on Customize. You'll choose the role, and I talked about earlier the grouping of users for training purposes. That's something we would set up prior to creating the training requirements. So based on our group of users that we would want, we would check the box for whatever we titled that role, and we would click Next. Oops, we would have to add a due date too. That would help. And just based on these due dates too, auto email reminders will be generated to users based on the due date you set, and they will go out 30 days prior to the due date, 15 days, 7 days, a day prior to the due date and every 30 days after that due date has been met. So you can also have an email generated to the admin when an individual completes a needs analysis. So we're going to go ahead and click next. And then here we'll have the ability to add all our questions. Go through, click next. We can add our custom questions. We can go ahead and click next. On this page here, you do have the ability to move the questions around in the template too by just holding and pulling that where you want within the template here. We're going to leave as is and click next. And then all you need to do is click finish. Sure you want to finish. And I just want to point out here that it automatically does not activate. Okay, once you've created that needs analysis for the role and any training plan, you actually need to come in here and activate it simply by clicking under the status for that particular role and click activate. So now that we've got our needs analysis, I'm going to talk a little bit about reporting a little bit later, but as your users complete the needs analysis, you're going to want to come to this page and you can click on review to review how your users answered the questions in your needs analysis. And again, I'm going to talk about that later, but this is where you would access that. So now it's time to start building your firm element, your training. You've reviewed the needs analysis, you've gathered information from the other pertinent sources, and now you want to create your firm element training. So you can do this by pulling in CE courses. You can do this by uploading links or files for your advisors or for your users to review. You can also review the courses, the CE courses, prior to pulling them into any firm element training plan under this courses tab or this AML tab. I'm just going to click on the AML tab here and kind of show you how this would work. All the AML courses will be listed under that tab. But you can click on review. Under review test, that's actually going to show you all the course content. And then if you click on view here, you are able to view the actual questions and answers for the particular module. So you will want to do that before you come in here and pull them into any of your firm element training plans. So I'm just going to click on this tab here so we can build our training path. And again, I've already got an example in here. There will be nothing listed when you go in. So you'll want to start with this create new. And the functionality is similar throughout. So you'll get the hang of it as we kind of touch on, as we kind of walk through this together. You'll have to add a due date here. The system will default to all members that you currently have in the system. But here, if you select this search and select option, you can use that role functionality if you're grouping users by role. But down below here, you can actually pull in individual users. So you would just select the individual that you would want to be incorporated into this training plan. So once we've pulled our users in, these are our different options as we build the content. You have the ability to choose the CE course, a link you can pull in, a file, and you can simply ask questions to be answered. And the very last option here is attestation, and that's just affirming that they have completed this firm element in its entirety. And an email can be generated, again, to the admin when that user has completed the entire firm element. We're going to start by building our path here with this CE course. And when we do that, we'll be able here to select the module. I'm just going to select the 529 plan. System refreshes, and then we're given some default options. You have some selections here you can make. You have the option to add all questions for this module, which is a total of 20. You can add a minimum number of questions for CE credit. Again, we will file on behalf of the for CE credits for the CFP designation. I do know that other designations will take these courses. For CE credits, the user would just have to file on their own for those credits. So the minimum here is the 10 questions, and that is the default. Or you don't have to include any questions. You can just have them review the course content. But again, regarding those CE credits, if you do not have them answer any questions, they will not be able to earn those CE credits. The passing threshold for all our CE courses is 70%. We do give you the option to change that. If you do change it, let's say you change it to 100%, you have these selections down below here. This first one is that they must score 100%, or repeat incorrectly answered questions until all questions are answered correctly. The next option here is that they must score the passing threshold, or the module will repeat the incorrectly answered questions until passing threshold is met. This last option here is that they must meet the passing threshold, or the course will report as failed, and they would need to complete the entire course again. I'm going to leave it as is, and then we're going to move on to add more to our training path. So in this next selection, now the course link and the file are basically the same functionality. It's just different data that's uploaded. So if we choose this course link, you simply can take your link, and I'm just going to copy this from up here and put this in here. And then you're going to name, give an alias here, and then the time requirement. You can set a time requirement for how long you think it should take that user to review that link. You know, if it's 15 minutes, you can enter 15 minutes. I would encourage you, though, to really take the time to determine how long it takes for that user to really review that course content. So you have an optimal time set. You can also add questions and answers based on the content that they reviewed in this material here. And it's that same question and answer option that we went through earlier. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this for the sake of time, but again, you list your question, your answer options, and then what the correct answer would be. Again, note box. You can make the note box required and send an email. For the purpose of this training, we won't add any. I just wanted to show you that you do have that election. These arrows over here to the right, let's say you wanted to move this, this part of the training ahead of this CE course. All you need to do is click that arrow, and that'll take it, and it'll put it above, and vice versa here with this arrow here. And then lastly, let's say, you know, we're done. We like what we have. You can also pull additional courses in. You can pull in as many courses as you want. But lastly, you'll want to add an attestation, just saying that they have completed this firm element in its entirety. All you need to do is select the attestation option. And here you can actually modify the question. The default here is I attest to having completed the firm element training in its entirety. You could actually add the name. If you entered your firm name into the title of that firm element training, you can do that here just by simply clicking edit, or you can just change the question entirely if you want. But we're going to leave the attestation as is. You're going to go ahead and click next. You do have a couple of payment options here. You can request an invoice, you can pay via credit card, or you can have your users pay for the training. So that is the firm element. The annual compliance questionnaire, which we're going to touch on next here. I'm going to skip over that compliance meeting for a minute. The annual compliance questionnaire has similar functionality as our needs analysis. So I won't spend a lot of time on that again. You will have a template, and I've created an example here just for the purpose of this training. But when you log in for the first time, you're going to see that annual compliance questionnaire. You can clone it again, just like we did for the needs analysis, or you could start from scratch and create your own. And then lastly, we do have the annual compliance meeting functionality. And this provides you the ability to upload your annual compliance meeting file. You can set a time requirement and the attestation to confirm that it's been reviewed. Again, all these training requirements will document in each user's training log, which you're very familiar with looking at those who have used the alternative investment platform. Everything will document in there for each user, and it'll show in one combined, which you can certainly filter out, training log. But for the annual compliance meeting, I've created an example that you would just simply create, new. You give it a due date. Again, those emails reminders will be sent out to users. We'll go here. This time we'll select a role. And then you can certainly just add your content. If it's a link, if it's a file, generally it's been a file that's been uploaded. A lot of times firms will use a recording and they will have a time limit set based on however long they think it would take to review that recording. And you can set that time requirement here. So once you have all your firm element training plan, needs analysis, when you have this, and just to point out too, you don't have to roll these all out at the same time. You can certainly, firms will roll out a needs analysis first, wait to get that back, and then and review that content, and then work to build their firm elements. Maybe they'll offer their AML separate than their actual firm element training path. So there's a lot of ways that this can be done, and it's a very customizable approach, as it should be with firm elements. But then what I wanted to show you, when your users, your two user types log in after we have this all built, your CE users, now instead of just seeing that course library here, where they had all the courses listed, they're going to see these different tabs here, where you're going to have the different elements of our firm element located. And they would simply click on these tabs and complete the requirements. For your alternative investment users, they would go to the same place they would go to take their education modules, the education and training, education modules. And you'll see this is what they typically see, the required to sell, optional. Only those firms who require retests, and there would be retests to show, would show this. But their CE Supplemental Courses page will always show the course library, basically, that the CE-only user shows. So currently, they have access to all these courses under the CE Supplemental Course tab. But because we've added those additional elements, they're going to see these other tabs. So moving on to reporting, this is always one of those hot topics. Now that we've done all this, how does the reporting show on these training requirements? So I'm going to jump back here. Here we have our annual compliance meeting. Obviously, I don't have my two users who have taken it, so we're still showing a 0 out of 2 completed. But when you click on this results tab, and I'm going to click back over to my PowerPoint here so I can show you what some of this will look like. So right now is the reporting on the annual compliance questionnaire. And when I click on that results or review button, you're going to see something like this. And it's going to actually list out the number of questions and the results. Now you have this ability, you can certainly do this within the platform itself, to view the details. And the details are going to show you who answered how, and when they actually took this, this annual compliance questionnaire. Now you also have this ability up here to export to Excel, PDF, or a CSV file. When you click on the view, this is actually the export here. And this is what, when you click on view, it's going to look similar to this, but this is an export. You'll have your advisor name, your firm name, the title of the questionnaire, and the different questions. And here it can be manipulated in a way you can see, you can group users together based on how they answered, and maybe address training needs that way. Here's just another report, which I think is very, very helpful. as far as the status, the completed, not completed of these annual training requirements, and that can be found in the admin account if you go to Reports and Logs. And you go to the CE Test Status Report, and that's found under the CE Supplemental Credit Course Report. And that takes you to this Annual Requirements tab here. And you'll see who's completed it and who hasn't. You can actually filter by the status. You can actually filter by the training. So if you wanted to see who completed the needs analysis, all you would do is change the all training to needs analysis or questionnaire or whatever it is you're looking to filter by. Now, I know I've covered a lot today. If you would like more information or would like to discuss how you can implement AI Insight, the AI Insight CE platform into your firm, please feel free to contact me. My number is 877-794-9448. My extension is 714. Or you can certainly email me at sherman@aiinsight.com. That's it for my presentation. Are there any questions? Jen, can I turn it back to you?
Yeah, thanks, Summer. There actually were some questions, a couple. My first one that came in from the audience is, my firm is a subscriber to the Alternative Investments platform. I've initially enrolled a user as a CE-only user. What happens if that individual then needs access to the Alternative Investments platform?
And we can find that when I talked about registering your users in the beginning here. Actually, let me just jump back over to my broker-dealer sign-on here. If you go to Admin and then you go to Manage Search Users, you're going to have a list of all your users, CE only or not. If that box is checked here, that just means they are coded as CE only and they will log into the CE platform. If that user then needs access to that alternative investment platform, all you would need to do is uncheck that box. It'll automatically save. And then, like I mentioned earlier, you will want to just manage their assigned education module role, especially if you have initial testing requirements on the alternative investment side. You want to be sure that they're set for that not approved role to force them to complete those initial training requirements.
Thanks, Summer. The next question is, it seems that this firm element/ACM functionality can actually be used for any type of training, not just firm element/ACM. For example, if I was interested in doing another type of training but wanted to use that training plan functionality, could we do that?
You certainly could use that functionality for any type of internal training. We just wouldn't allow product-specific training. As far as that goes, you wouldn't be able to add any alternative specific training since that's our primary business.
Thanks, Summer. And then another question is, what is the price for use of the CE platform?
What I would say on pricing is that our pricing is very competitive. And there's no charge for use of our needs analysis template or annual, the annual compliance questionnaire. If you do want to talk pricing, it's more of I need to better understand the needs at your firm in order to give you a price based on your needs. So that's really a discussion. I don't think as a whole, I think it's something, please contact me and we can talk through what your needs are and what the best approach would be for you in order to determine what your pricing would be.
Thanks, Summer. Is there anything you wanted to add?
I don't. Just please feel free to give me a call if you're looking to implement this at your firm. I'm happy to take you through the initial stages and provide ongoing support.
Well, thank you, Summer, and thank you to the audience for calling in. Please reach out to Summer, of course, or customer care with any questions. As noted before, our next webinar is going to be on the 25th, and that will be on our financial performance reporting. Thank you so much, and I hope everyone has a great afternoon.
Thanks, Jen.